I'm going to share what I know truthfully, even if it's highly controversial.
Are you open to that perhaps you're wrong about this?
I have met someone from another planet. I know I'm not wrong. Our space brothers really want to help us.
This meditation is dedicated to everyone who are brave enough to become ambassadors to the universe together.
Reports of strange flying objects in the sky are older than the United States.
UFO sightings aren't new.
Well, it went up through the trees. Looked like a big cigar shape.
For a long time, claiming to have any ET encounters carried stigma and ridicule. And former US presidents haven't divulged information when asked about UFOs.
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really?
This fuels a vast spectrum of theories, from the belief that the government has proof aliens exist, to the idea that the US is hiding revolutionary alien technology. Mysterious flying objects now seem to be having their moment in Washington. The Pentagon has been tasked with setting up an office to investigate UFOs. And in May, Congress held its first public hearing on the topic in over 50 years.
Unidentified aerial phenomena are a potential national security threat, and they need to be treated that way.
It wasn't exactly revelatory, and witnesses denied that the government secretly has UFO material. Still, some UFOologists believe that the truth, or what they call disclosure, is closer than ever. We set out to meet people who passionately believe there's an alleged government cover-up and find out why.
We've come to Sedona, Arizona, which is apparently just a real hotspot for UFO activity. And we're here to see Sheila Neese. Now, Sheila runs a UFO tour, which she claims exposes people to the real truth behind UFOs and aliens, as opposed to what the government tells us.
The former flight attendant has been researching UFOs since the 80s. She started giving tours on how to spot them in 2019. Neese invited me out to the desert for a personal tour with her daughter and friend.
Tell me about this experience that we're about to have.
Well, tonight I expect that we'll see a lot of ships. I will tell you that every single night is different, so you really don't know exactly what to expect.
If you ask the scientific community, like astronomers, there's pretty much all of them will say, like, sure, there's probably life out there. Yet, there's a certain point in which that belief turns into a quote-unquote conspiracy theory, and the people who believe it get dismissed and ridiculed. How do you guys feel about that?
After 41 years of doing research in the UFO field, I will tell you that our universe is teeming with people. We have people on every single planet. We have people in star systems. People live on asteroids, I was told.
You say people?
People. Mm-hmm.
As in humans?
Humans, And
from Earth?
No, some look like us, some don't. There are people from all over, and we do have bases. Our government definitely has bases on different planets. Our space brothers really want to help us, and if we had contact with them, we would be able to get free energy, which would obviously be a little damper in the pocketbooks of, all of the energy companies. That's why we're all ridiculed.
Neese uses night vision goggles to identify UFOs. And to make sure they're effective, we had to wait for complete darkness.
Here's a UFO right here.
Where?
Right here. You see this?
The laser.
Look at my laser. You see where I'm pointing?
Yeah.
You see it with the naked eye even, yep.
Oh, there's something flying up there. Are you sure it's not a satellite?
No, satellites don't have lights on them. So they're much darker in these goggles. The goggles
there's something
pick up
flying
things
up
that
there.
are lit.
I'm going to have to take your word for it. It's unidentified by me, at least.
It's a straight trajectory.
Anything flashing is an airplane.
I like how cavalier you are, Sheila. Like, oh, there's a UFO.
Here's another one here.
Oh my God, that's so fast!
Yeah. Shoot, where'd it go?
What?
I didn't see it. No.
This is the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even if there are satellites, it's fucking cool.
During the 2 hours we spent there, I found out Nees embraced other conspiracies, including ones about chemtrails and 9/11.
I do research. In other words, I don't believe things.
But also, actual researchers do research.
Right.
So why don't we believe their research? Why is your research better than?
Because I'm doing it on my own.
And I'm just wondering, like, you know the term, if all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail?
Yeah, I have.
Could it be that you have a conspiracy hammer, and so everything around you kind of looks like a conspiracy?
Because I have seen through the years how the government reacts to things, I feel that I have a different vantage point.
Is there any government narrative or like anything the authorities tell you about, I don't know, anything that you're willing to believe?
I have learned through the years that we have been given certain narratives, and I have checked certain things out to find out that they are not the truth.
The U.S. government hasn't always been transparent about UFO investigations. In 1969, the Air Force announced that it would stop looking into UFOs after it concluded 20 years of research had yielded little. But in 2017, the New York Times revealed a secret Pentagon program studying UFOs had been running since 2007. Then last year, the CIA declassified roughly 50 years of UFO-related records, followed by a Pentagon report about UFO sightings by military pilots. Their findings were largely inconclusive. All of this has, of course, stirred up ET enthusiasts. So, we made our way to Scottsdale to meet Stephen Greer, a popular UFOologist who's been called the father of the disclosure movement.
So we're going to head out. We're ready?
This is Greer's largest conference to date, drawing several hundreds of people who likely first got hooked by his documentaries.
Hello.
They're here to learn CE5, a meditation protocol he developed to make contact with ETs.
Everything is integrated. There's no separation in space and time. All these things are a conscious quantum hologram enfolded within and within and within and within and within. The CIA, they call this WSFM. It sounds like a radio station. It means weird science and frickin' magic.
Throughout the weekend, he laid out an intricate blueprint of cosmology and cover-ups, sometimes referencing government insiders as sources.
When I have meetings in Washington, even at very senior governmental levels, those guys are not read into that. Never mind, they're supposed to be managing the black budget of the United States.
He claims a shadow government is suppressing information and revolutionary ET technology. He also says that this rogue operation, for reasons I'm still a little unclear about, is manufacturing alien robots.
One time we were out at Joshua Tree, and one of these bizarre creatures, you could have thought it was an alien, but it was 3D. And it was set loose on one of our team members' houses, and it was at the windows and on the roof. And we had someone in the house. They had a gun. They came running out, and the thing scurried off into the desert. And they described that. I said, oh, yeah, I know how they're making those, like at Montauk out on Long Island ages ago. Too weird. It's the truth. What I'm telling you is the truth.
Frankly, it was a lot to take in and fact check. So I sat down with Dr. Greer after his sessions.
So explain the world to me. Mm-hmm. What is going on?
Now even the Pentagon and members of Congress are admitting that UAP, UFOs are real, they're physical, we've tracked them, had encounters with them. I think what's been lacking is enough good research to sort of flesh out what is really going on. So what happens is that because of the sort of the I hate to say this, the freak show of the whole UFO subject and the kook factor, it doesn't get drilled down on either by people in government or in universities and scientists very much.
Your claims go further than just that you've seen things. Your claims involve a vast government cover-up.
But let's get really clear. The government of the United States, excepting rare personnel, know nothing about. They don't know anything about this subject. So there's not like there's some vast conspiracy hiding this. It's a highly compartmented operation. So you have to understand that this has not been handled in a legal and constitutional way.
When people say stuff like the pandemic was planned or the World Trade Center was an inside job, the answer becomes like, but the size of the architecture that would have to be in place and to be maintained to keep that thing hushed up is just unrealistic.
Yes, and that is what they want everyone to believe. And it's a little bit the Wizard of Oz, pulling all the levers behind the curtain. And I call this the Wizard of Oz effect, and it's very, very effective. And, if I had only met with one senior government official that should have been read into and know about this, who made inquiries and then were threatened, I would consider that a conspiracy theory. To me, it's a fact.
Can we talk to these government officials who have not been read in and are presumably pissed off that they haven't been read in?
My understanding is none of these people would want to go on the record about any of this.
I mean, so that's where things get tricky, right?
It is.
Then I'm taking your word for it.
Well, I can't control them.
I wasn't convinced and wanted to see whether other folks at the conference were sold.
What sense are you getting of the people in here that you're talking to?
I think everyone is from all walks of life. It's interesting. What's going on in here and what we're learning is transformational. And I think it's connecting a lot of the dots that a lot of us have had through the years, that we're getting to hear it and see it all at one time from the master, I would call Dr. Greer the master.
I feel like there's so much that goes on that we don't know about. We've known that there's been things our government has done in the past that has come out that was withheld from us. So I would think there's still things in our government that is being withheld from us. I can't imagine they're just an open book.
Why are you here?
I've always been fascinated with the idea of life outside of here. I 100% believe that the idea of spirituality and technology need to get together and move forward, because I'm tired of not living in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So I'm here because to meet people, to network, to understand about that, be able to be an ambassador for other beings out there and say, hey, there's nice ones of us down here. Share your tech, because we're over this.
We've moved to the desert for the culmination of Dr. Greer's weekend conference. There's about 500 people here, 950 joining online, and all of us are going to try to have a guided meditation to communicate with extraterrestrials.
Welcome, everyone, and welcome to everyone online. We're going to have 4 hours out here under the sky. The way the ETs communicate similarly are in very clear impressions that are visual thought and feeling and the information all at once. It's not a verbal linear like I'm communicating now. And if you would stand for the puja, I'd very much appreciate it. This meditation is dedicated to everyone who are brave enough to become ambassadors to the universe together with us here tonight. Avahanam samarpamishri gurucharan kamalepyo namah. Vastram samarpamishri gurucharan kamalepyo namah. So let us sit together in silence and meditate for a time and dive into the vastness of this pure and infinite cosmic mind.
We sat in the dark, completely still for what felt like hours, meditating, searching for a sign.
We will stay in this state of consciousness and this purpose because we are ambassadors to the cosmos.
Although I didn't see or sense anything otherworldly, it became clear to me that for some, looking for the truth about life beyond Earth goes deeper than alleged cover-ups. It's really a spiritual pursuit.
And so we realize that the vastness of the cosmos and of the people of the Earth have always been one family. But now the time for its realization and fulfillment has arrived.